Hi there, Aquarius. This is Kay. You're on the Collective Soul Tarot channel. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back. And welcome to your reading. So we're going to look at your past, near or far, your present day energy, and your near future energies. Using Intuit Oracle, Archangel Michael, and the Holy Spirit will lead the way. I hope you're all doing well. I'm glad to be here for you guys today. Alright, let's begin. Please like and subscribe as well, if you haven't already. You might hear it raining. You might. And it's definitely thundering out too as well. Alright, past energy is mortar. Oh my God. Mortar and pestle. Blend, brew, alchemy, concoction, medicine, breaking things down, making something else, potions, and spell work. Yeah, breaking things down, making something else. Kind of like an alchemist or a magician. For the present day, we have clouds, thoughts, problems, doubts, hesitation, beyond view, unclear, confusion, indecision, and misunderstandings. Possibly sitting in the energy of not understanding something that had been, that's kind of, things have changed to such a degree for you that it's unrecognizable to you. Let's see, mice, and then there's loss, illness, fatigue, stress, deterioration, loss, theft, reduction, filth, decay, irritation, worry, fear, anxiety, waste, and nagging. Alright, so you're going to be, you are in the position of not, being unclear about something. Possibly, Aquarius, you're unclear about a relationship that you're in, or unclear about some kind of work expectation, responsibility, duty, whatever you want to call it. Unclear about the fiscal year forecast, just unclear about something. But it could be something to do with your health as well, a health situation. But something had been alchemized, right? Something had come together. It was like, for example, you were single and you met somebody and now you're a couple. So, or you were unemployed and now you're employed, so now you're an employee. That kind of thing. It could be that you were not a small business owner, now you are a small business owner. You might be dealing with tax, how to properly file your sales tax reports, just stuff like that. Could be anything from extraneous to mundane subject matter here, okay? So right now, though, you're unclear. And I know I am facing some unclarity right now because I am a small business owner and I am trying to file sales tax, what I need to report on the sales tax report every month. So right now I am unclear. And that's a problem. And this is a problem, it says here in this card, it's a problem. Because if you're unclear, then you may not do it correctly. And you may end up either not paying enough or end up getting, later on they may fine you for unpaid sales taxes. And then you also have to pay interest on it and some kind of late fee and stuff like that. So then in the near future we have mice. So illness, fatigue. So what is saying here, what I'm getting from this right now is that Aquarius, whatever changes that you have witnessed from being something to becoming something else, and then it redefines it, right? Like I said, with you being single, meeting someone, now you're a couple. You're a redefined person. You're in a coupleship. If we're unemployed, now you're employed. You're defined as an employee now. That kind of thing, right? it's unclear to you how it's going to work out for you, because there might be some circumstances that are kind of making things, you know, maybe the person that you are coupled up with right now is you know, they got a very challenging personality that you never really didn't make much notice of before, and maybe you recently moved in together, and you're seeing things that you didn't see before because you didn't live with them. And so you're unclear about how your future will be with this person, because you're not sure if you'll be able to put up with their daily maybe hygiene habits, their daily they're just not the type of person who cleans up after themselves. Something like that. Or they watch TV and they're always watching TV. They always have the remote controller in their hand when they're not at work, if they are working, and the volume's way up and you have to keep asking them to turn the volume down. Maybe you're a student, you're studying at home, and you need a little bit of privacy or quiet so that you can concentrate and focus. It could be anything, of course, but it could be a problem with work. You know, you've got this job, you're happy to have the job because you'd been unemployed, and now you're employed, you can pay your bills, you know, but there might be a certain coworker at work that is really a very difficult person to have to be around all day long, and or a supervisor or manager is on you, and you just feel like you're being singled out, and maybe a little bit too much focus is on you for being a newbie on the job kind of thing, and or your duties, there's extra duties that you're responsible for that you didn't know before when you accepted the job, but suddenly it's on your, they're saying, well, it was on your job description. Did you read your job description? Well, it wasn't mentioned, you know. So things like that. They may have hired you to work 9 to 5. Now suddenly you're working 11 to 7, and you might have kids, that kind of thing, where you need to be home. If it's bad enough that you have to be home at 5 because they get out of school at 3 or 3:30 or 2:30, something like that. They have to go to a sitter's, but the sitter's only going to take them till 5 or 5:30. And that would work out for your 9 to 5. That'd be okay. But 11 to 7, that's, you know, it's kind of like bringing your kid to the babysitter, the daycare, halfway through the day, and then picking them up long after everyone else is gone. If there's even any kind of child care center or babysitter who would do that, like to keep your child till 7 or 7:30. So stuff like that. You're uncertain about something. It's a bit cloudy right now. Your thoughts are kind of muddled about what to do, what decision to make. But if you don't make a decision, you're going to lose something. If you make a decision, it may not be the right decision. You end up losing out on something. Or you make a decision to lose it. So you might make the decision to break away from this person. I can't live with you. We can still date, but we can't live together. So that person might say, well, if we don't want to live together, I mean, what's the point of us even dating? And they'll say, well, they might say to you, well, you know, maybe we should go our separate ways. So that's a loss, right? That's a breakdown. For the work, if you are at work and you have something that's, you know, not as it seems, or someone is too much of a nag, or too particular, or too specific, or not specific enough, you might decide to quit, to leave that job, and not whether you have another job to go to right away or not. So you'll be losing your income, right, because you're quitting, or they fire you, right? And I hope to God that's not the case, but you know, it's reality, right? So then you'd be losing your job and losing that income. Now you're back to square one where you're unemployed. Just anything like that. Health issue, same thing. You have a health problem. Let's say you have diabetes. Always use that one. Diabetes. You see the doctor, specialists, and all that sort of stuff. You get the insulin you need, or the medication that you can take to help regulate your blood sugars. And but right now it's kind of like you're still in the phase of, is this insulin going to work for me? I don't feel right. I don't feel good. I don't feel any better than I did before, or in fact I feel less than I did before I started taking this insulin or this medication. Maybe you're taking metformin or some kind of insulin pill, and it's just not. So it's a matter of going back to the drawing board, right? With your doctor, you might have to see a specialist. Maybe you have something else going on with your diabetes diagnosis that's complicating your diabetes more. And so you're going to be leaving something behind. You're going to be, not using that insulin anymore. Or you might change your doctor, leave that doctor behind and seek a second opinion. There's that kind of thing. Could be for any health condition. And if it's investments, money, finances, savings, an accountant, you've got an accountant now because you have this money that you want to be able to smartly, be smart about investing. And so you're talking to your accountant about it, but you find somebody and they're fairly old school and they're still quite a traditionalist in the way that, you need to just invest in stocks and bonds. Well, there's more than just stocks and bonds out there now, right? There's also crypto. So you might be a little bit unclear about how you feel about your accountant not really being in the mainstream, not really giving you other opportunity or other options. And you might be doing some research on your own and unclear as to why your accountant is not schooling you, educating you about this. And so you might be a little miffed or uncertain about whether or not you should stay with this account, but you already gave them some kind of retainer, who knows. I don't know if you give accountants retainers, but you give them something, and so you're stuck with them for a month because otherwise you just threw that money out the window. And you'll be maybe making a decision to either stay with what they can offer you, or you're going to say, so long, I'm going to get myself another accountant, somebody who's maybe younger, who is more in tune with today's investment options. Okay, so that's laying the foundation for what I see from the first three cards. So Archangel Michael, what can you tell us more through the Lenormand? Okay, the past is tulips. Okay, past is tulips. There you go, tulips. That's making, making an effort to let someone know that you're in it. You're in the game. You're interested, and it could be, romantic. It's usually defines some kind of romantic feeling, as someone cares for you. They admire you, or you admire them and care for them. But, in this situation, Aquarius, we're going, it could be you're just interested. You're interested in what these two things coming together, like the job, for example. You were unemployed. Now you're interested. You're letting someone know you're interested by filing a resume, like submitting a resume through Indeed.com for this particular job posting. So you're letting the employer or HR, human resources, know that you're interested, and they'll eventually, give you a call or email you if they see that your resume would be a good fit for the job, that kind of thing, and so forth and so on. Now we have the whip and broom. The whip and broom is like you're cleaning up, why is that upside down? You're cleaning up the clarity issue for yourself. You are like, the whip and broom is like you're whipping things into shape, and then you're cleaning up the mess. All right? That's you cleaning up the mess by whipping things into shape. So you're going to be cleaning up the mess in your mind, or your thoughts, or your concerns, or your attitude or opinion about something. You're going to be sweeping that away after you have found some clarity. So right now, it's a matter of you're in the middle of actually the mess, because you haven't quite been able to reach that status of finding clarity, whipping yourself into shape, doing that research or finding out more, asking questions, stuff like that, just so that you can gain the clarity that you need or that you're seeking. And then we have the book of knowledge. It's learning something. It's realizing. Now, the book of knowledge is it's like the Akashic records. It's like learning something. It's whatever, but I want to read a little bit more just to see, just in case there's something else that's more specific for that really pertains to this reading in the direction I'm going. Okay, book. I gotta take my glasses off. Okay, so we've got the book of knowledge, the book of secrets. What I house is educational and private. I may be your project or your research, and sometimes your studies and journals. Watch out for the cards around me, because with the sun you will see right through me. I am hidden, I am unknown, but occasional knowledge I might learn. Yeah. Book attention to the power of knowledge and the importance of possessing it. This card may suggest there's something somebody needs to know. However, this will only become apparent with the presence of the cards around it. Yeah, because you need to clean. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me because it is, you need to clean, you need to do some research. You need to whip your maybe lack of knowing something or lack of clarity about a situation, circumstances, and how you feel about something going forward, right? So you're needing to whip yourself into shape, and once you learn what you need to learn, you're going to be, setting it on its way. You're going to send it on its way. Basically, is that you can also be losing confusion. You could also be losing confusion about it. But you lose confusion, you find clarity, and you have learned what it is that you needed to learn about a certain situation, a person, your relationship, your work situation, your investment situation, your health situation. You are going to find out more because of the cloud of mystery that has come as a result of this thing alchemizing, these two things coming together. It's for a health situation, that's you with your health problem and a doctor or a specialist. That now you're a patient, okay? This is you and your accountant, and now you're a financial client, or you're a small business owner or something to the accountant, right? So it's alchemized into where you're defined slightly different now because you agreed to join with something else, right? So you have been doing some research. That's basically what we're talking about, and you're realizing it's time to set something aside or let something go. Yeah. All right, let's find out more. The whip, and then just say the whip on this one. It's the same idea. Needing to set some things straight to overcome the large obstacle of a mountain, to overcome that which you have not been able to see clearly or to understand properly. With the dog, you are going to be learning. To me, this seems like you're going to be learning something because you're going to be talking to someone who's in the know. Either it's a friend with the relationship issue, a friend or a previous lover, maybe the friend or a family member. They may tell you about this person that oh yeah, I lived with them. They are, they're a pig, they live like a pig, whatever. Just an example, right? But it could be that you talk to another accountant, if it's the accountant story, that kind of thing. It might even be a kid and teacher situation. You might be going to school yourself, so you're now a student. You've decided to take your time and energy and money and apply for the local college or university or online something. Now you're an online student, or you're a university student, you're a college student in the major of blah blah blah. So you have been consulting with somebody to learn something, or reading books, and you meet somebody in the bookstore about it, and they tell you a little bit about what they know about that, because you happen to be in the same section of the bookstore. And they go, oh, I see you're looking at blah blah blah, and are you interested in that? And you'll say, well, I'm having this issue right now, and I'm a little unclear about what's really happening. And they'll say, well, I can help you out. I know a little bit about this. If you want to sit down and have a cup of coffee, I'll let you know. So that kind of thing. All right, so here we go. Yep, you are already setting the wheels in motion to say, something's got to be clearer here for me. I got to find some clarity. I'm getting a little bit too confused. The world. Okay, put an end to something. Look, she's like sleeping, isn't she? She's sleeping. I don't know. She's got her hands like this, but she's sleeping, and she's enjoying her little nap there in amongst all the nature of the grass and the flowers and stuff like that. She's put an end to something. She ended a chapter in her life and starting a brand new one. Yeah, brand new chapter is opening and unfolding for her in her life. So let's see what our little tarot has to say to clarify the World card. The Three of Cups. Yeah, okay, I can take that. The Three of Cups. It's like the third party situation where there was just too many things to try and to organize. Too many things to organize. Too many fingers in the pot, as they say. Too many people involved. Too many opinions. Too many attitudes to have to listen to, take into consideration about your issue. It could be like with the patient one where you're diagnosed with something. There's too many, like you might be online researching diabetes 2, type 2, and you're trying to figure it out, but your doctor's saying something else, and the specialist says something else, and the medicine they recommend you take, it has a lot of side effects that you're not comfortable with, that kind of stuff. So the Three of Cups, okay? Three of Cups can be a celebration, okay? And this could be that, sure. But I'm looking at this as you're putting an end to confusion. You're putting an end to not knowing because something is above your head. Something's out of your control. And out of your control is a third-party situation. Third party does not have to be another human being, but it could be. In between, like this would be your doctor and yourself, and then there's the third party could be the specialist saying something different. Third party could also be in that situation the Google, the information that you gain on Google, and it's telling you something that you're, when you ask your doctor about it, they say that's not true, blah, blah, blah. Or, in your relationship, obviously, if that person that wants to live with you, but they also go and see somebody else on the side, and you don't know about it, but you're finding out about it. Anyways, it can be any third-party situation. Like, third-party can be Google, right, between you and your doctor. And third-party in, like, the education could be your mother, or you've learned from maybe someone who's a job headhunter. Headhunter is giving you information that doesn't seem to jive with respect to getting a job in the field that you're going into school for, major. The headhunter may be giving you all this sort of information that's supposed to be really, really, really grab your attention and make you really want to go along with their ideas, and so that they can recommend you to a particular company that has hired them as a job headhunter. kind of like manipulating you with all these figures. Oh, you'll be making $100,000 a year after their third month working there. You know, that kind of stuff. And so it's like, but you got to, they'll say something like, you got to go there now. You have to start working now. You know, you've got one semester in, that's great, but now you're in the second semester, but the employer needs you now. So, you know, you're going to school for this major, and they need you need to have that major. You need to have that degree to work for this company, right, that the headhunter is looking for. But they want you to not go to school and to go to work right away, and then they will train you on the job, and it's kind of like, wait a minute, I need the degree to work there. Well, how is it that I can just not even get my degree and go and work there and make all that money that the headhunter is telling me I'm going to be making? Yeah, so confusion, right? You don't know what's true and what's real and what's not, what's fantasy and what's real. So forth and so on. So you are there's a third party situation that has brought a lot of clouds of confusion into your current life right now. Yep. But the best thing about it is that you're going to be finding the clarity. You're going to whipping yourself into shape by snapping the whip on yourself and saying, let's figure this out. Let's gain information. Let's talk to somebody if we need to. I need to get this sorted out. You'll get it sorted out, and then you're going to say, move along. You know, whatever it is. You might be saying, move along to it, or you might be saying, move along that particular area of the duty from that job description. You take that duty off my job description until I've had more, experience and maybe moved up the ladder to supervisor. Then I'll stay. I won't quit my job. That kind of thing. Okay. Let's go ahead and check out what Tarot has to say. Brand new chapter is opening up for you. So remember that. We have the Fool. Yeah, that's like you took a leap of faith in bringing something together, alchemizing, right? Mortar and pestle, blending something. You and this person in a romantic relationship. You and this school and this major. You're a student now. Your kid's school and the teacher or the principal or the counselor, something. That you are now, maybe they're suggesting that you become maybe in class helper, assister, teacher's assistant if you have concerns about what's going on in the classroom with your young child. They might recommend that you, what's that PTA stuff? Yeah, where you become more active in what's going on in the school. It's parent something, PTA, I don't know what it is. And then the Nine of Wands. So yeah, which, having said you're interested, now you're in it, now you're saying, whoa, wait a minute, there's something, I'm seeing red flags, I'm a little confused. You know, I've been in other situations before where I came out not so good, skinned and daggers in my back and headache, mental illness, breakdown. You know, I came out of something before that I didn't ask enough questions. Well, I feel like I'm back at square one again in a different situation, maybe a similar situation, but different people involved. So, but you're persevering with the Nine of Wands. You're a perseverer. You're someone who says, I may be down and I may have had a panic attack, you know, with the mental illness, a band-aid around the head, a panic attack. I may have fallen, but I've gotten up, and I'm going to whoop myself into shape, and I'm going to figure this out, even if it kills me, kind of thing. With the Page of Swords, that's you checking out, you know, maybe information that they have a social media page or online, because it's a huge online. But the Page of Swords is also a student, somebody who learns, you know, the sword being intelligence, but you're looking back so that you can find your way forward. That's what you're doing. You're looking back. You're remembering what you've been through before, possibly, with the situation similar to this, where you didn't come out of it too well. But, and if that's not your situation, you're just looking back at the whole situation and saying, what do I need to learn from this? What do I need to learn from this? Right? I need to learn that confusion is no way to continue carrying on moving forward in this. I need to stop and have a rethink. The World card again in the same area with the present day energies. World card. So yeah, you are definitely closing out as a cycle where you are going to be gaining all the clarity as a curious page person. This is the messenger, the learner, the student, right? You're going to be learning what you need to learn that has eluded you before. That you are going to gain that clarity right now if you haven't already started gaining some clarity. And then the Lovers is that you're going to be making a choice, because the Lovers is about making a choice. And this could be for that romantic situation, Aquarius. You might be making a choice as to whether or not you're going to stay with this person or move on. Or maybe you have a choice between someone else and your person. Yeah. So however way it applies to your life. And the Three of Coins, that's you laying down a new foundation, building a new foundation because of the information that you've gained and made the decision to leave something behind. For the romantic, it would be either leaving your person behind to be with this other option person that you have, or leaving the option and staying with your current person. Yeah, and then apply that as the health situation, the going back to school situation, being in school situation, your kids at school situation, your financial situation, your work situation, all the areas of life. So yeah, you are definitely going to be collaborating with others. This person who's very loyal. If you don't know them and you don't realize they're already loyal to you, you're going to learn this about them, that you can trust them. Trust them to not lead you astray. Yes, definitely. The Book of Knowledge. You will be gaining much knowledge in the near future. Right here, through collaborating with others. People you can trust. This doesn't have to be just one person. This could be a group of people. Maybe you need to know something about Alcoholics Anonymous or NA, and you're going to go to one of its meetings and you're going to meet other people there that have just joined recently, and you just feel like you've got a kinship with them, and you're very happy to see them every week or however often you go, and that you feel like you're learning a lot from them through their own experiences. And they may have been in other NA meetings or other AA meetings, and they can tell you a little bit about what it's like to start something like that, and say you're interested, that you're good, you're registering, you're involved, but it's confusing because they bring out the big book. The big book. I don't know what it's called. The big book, Yeah, so anyways, here we got the back of the deck, which is the Knight of Coins. Taking it slowly, though. Methodically, do not be rash. Like when you've got to learn something, unless you're really, you are a high IQ, like really high IQ, where you can just, and maybe a bit of Asperger's, where you can zip through a piece of literature that's like 100 pages or more in 20 minutes, and really grasp all the information it provided, then you're going to be taking it slow, because you've got to learn this stuff. You got to realize what it is that you got yourself into, so that you know, and then talk to others about how you can go about mitigating the circumstances, the situation, and possibly even leaving it behind, choosing to leave it behind. Then we got Death, which is death and trans. This is major change and transformation, right? And the Queen of Cups is you coming out sweet and on top of things. Queen of Cups, coming out on top of it, having been able to intuitively realize that all that you've done is all that you needed to have done, And now you are like, you're more in love with your life in the sense that you're more at peace. You're more at peace with the decision that whatever decision you're making in the near future about these circumstances that you're confused about right now. You are making that transformation because you're taking charge of your life. You're taking charge of what you have agreed to do, to be involved in. And you are either walking away from it, or B, staying with it, but having things need to be changed. Like there has to be caveats, or one of these job descriptions, like I mentioned before, is something that you say, I will stay at this job, I will continue working as hard as I can for you, but I need you to take that responsibility off my job description right now. Just kind of making compromise, asking to have compromises put into consideration for you, that kind of thing. But yeah, you'll be changing. You may not be like a Queen of Cups. A queen is a highly evolved person who has integrated her quality, which is love, trust, and intuition. Unconditional love. So you will be finding that you come out proud of yourself. You're going to be so proud of yourself for having taken the reins and said no. You just say no, right? No, I'm not, this isn't working for me. This isn't working for me. I need to think about this. I may be making changes, and I might even be walking away from this because something doesn't feel right. Until there's compromises made or changes made, I can't do. The only change that's going to be made is that I'm going to take charge of my future and my well-being, and I'm going to just say no. And I'm going to love myself because of it. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be at peace for the decision, the choice that you're going to make. So guys, I hope that this was helpful to you, Aquarius, and take care of yourself. Please like and subscribe. Bye for now.